Better Best Podcast. It's your boy, Charles Beloved, and I am here, as always, with my very beautiful, extremely sweet and thoughtful wife, Mrs. Shireen Kirkendall. I had to rebound. I've been messing up.
You've been all over the place.
I've been all over the place trying to think of stuff. But how you feeling?
I'm good. It's been a week, but we are here. We're excited to be with you guys. We have some fun stuff to talk about today.
Oh yeah. I think, this is 5 episodes into the new season, and if you're watching and not only listening, something has changed in my dear wife. Now, let me be very clear, because I want to preface this. I, Charles Kirkendall, do not comment on women's physical appearance ever, so let's just know that. I am PC. I'm politically correct, beloved. And if I'm being honest, the best versions of you, because we've done a weight episode before, the best versions of you to me during your pregnancy, now it's not a fetish, because I don't want people turning this into what it's not. What I'm saying is, like, when you and I, when you were pregnant with Carter and we went on vacation, what was that, 3 to 4 months? Mm-hmm. Woo! Girl, that was literally the most beautiful that I've ever seen.
Oh, so, thank you. When I had
it's not a
achy
weight,
back and
it's not a weight thing for me. But you have lost a sizable amount of weight.
Not sizable.
You know what I mean? I just want to be very honest, and people who do have eyes can see that. And I have seen the compliments. I have seen from your own perspective, like, you're not a person who generally lacks confidence, but I have seen more confidence.
Oh, have you?
From you, absolutely. I see less pictures posted of myself and more pictures of you. Don't grab my arm. Don't grab my arm. It seems like the less the weight, the less the photos of your husband. But that's fine. I can live with that. But no, you have lost some weight. And even in those conversations, people are like, oh my God, like, I guess weight is something that people do struggle with. People have loved our transparency on that episode. Here we are, season 2. Y'all see, I ain't lost no weight.
You have,
okay,
no,
stop.
That's a lie.
Okay,
you have lost weight.
We'll talk about it. But, like, we talk about these topics openly. And so what I have really enjoyed seeing is the reaction of people when we're talking to them about your weight loss and you're honest about what it is that you're doing. Their eyes go crazy.
Y'all.
Let's get into it. Welcome to the episode. The title of this is Reen-Govy. So Reen-Govy is the nickname that I gave it, but break it down for the people who don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I was really struggling to lose weight, and I was in like a really kind of like vicious cycle after I had Carter. It was like I would work hard all week. Charles would see me. I would try to eat like good lunches. I was breastfeeding. I was doing all the things. And here's the thing about breastfeeding. People are like, oh my God, you lose all the weight breastfeeding. You lose weight breastfeeding and then you stall. You stall out and you stop losing weight. And I stalled out and I gained a lot of weight with Carter. And when I hit the breastfeeding stall, I was still significantly bigger than where I wanted to be. So I still had like a good 40 pounds that I needed to lose. And like every week I would be really good, diligent. I'd be like down 2 pounds, 3 pounds in a week. I'm like, great. And then literally over the weekend, I wouldn't even go crazy. We would go.
Yeah, we eat a little splash.
Yeah. I'm like, we'd have breakfast.
In addition to dinner. We do like 2 meals a day max.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm like, I'm not even talking about where I'm going out, I'm drinking, like having a crazy weekend. No, I like ate breakfast. So I ate like a little bit more than I eat during the week. And by the end of the weekend, the 3 pounds will be back. And then I would spend the next week working really hard to lose that same 3 pounds. And it was just
cycle nasty work.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was pretty demoralizing, like, to get on the scale, to do the hard work, get on the scale, and like the weight just like, I just kept bouncing between the same like 5 pounds. And at some point I was just like, well, F this, I'm going to eat the cheeseburger then, because I'm hungry.
You go, girl. Eat the cheeseburger.
But I think what for me, what was like really, I don't want to say triggering, but like, I just felt like I couldn't fit anything. Like I couldn't fit any of my clothes. And I was like having to buy, like going places became like a thing for me. Cause like, I'm like, I have to buy clothes cause I don't have any clothes that fit.
That's interesting because I don't think that you ever expressed that to me explicitly in that matter. You always just expose things on the podcast to listeners without having a conversation with me. I always get frustrated because I'm the person that typically has all the plans, has everything outlined, and I go into a closet that is 70% her stuff. So for her to say, hey, I don't have anything to wear, that could potentially provoke an argument or a response that
could
be like, somewhat critical when all I see.
He'd be like, you just Amazon wore that. Bags. And I'm like, well, I just wore it, but I feel comfortable in it. And it's the only thing that I don't still look pregnant in. Like, my weight, we all have like places in our body where we gain weight. From before I even had kids. When I gain weight, I gain it in my stomach. So when I got pregnant, I had a ginormous stomach. I had a huge stomach. I'll have Orlando put a picture of me pregnant here for people who have not seen it. I carry very big. And I got asked a lot, oh my God, you're having twins. Oh my God, that's a 10-pound. No, y'all, I'm just big as hell. It's one baby. I'm not about to pop. Like, it was just like, it was so many comments on women's bodies during pregnancy. But so after I had the baby, I had this big old stomach, and Instagram makes you think like you have a baby and the stomach disappears.
Back, yeah.
No, the stomach's still there. The baby's out and you still look 5 months pregnant. So I would put on clothes and I would look 5 months pregnant, and like that didn't feel good because I had a 5-month-old.
Okay.
So I'm just like putting on clothes. My stomach's popping out of everything. Charles hates shapewear. Yeah. And
I call it linebacker gear. He's like
NFL
padding.
You got on your padding today?
I say we going against the Chargers this week, Shireen?
Yes.
So I'm just not a fan. I don't mind a little squishiness. You know, that's a grown man. When you're a grown man,
anyway, I minded the squishiness.
Yes.
And I think coming off of pregnancy, like your hormones are already crazy. So I was just in a place like I had finished breastfeeding and I had not lost any more weight, and I was trying so hard. And with CJ, like it was the same thing. I finished breastfeeding. I had kind of plateaued with the weight. And honestly, with CJ, I like ate salads, worked out a little bit. The weight still fell off. This go around, I'm taking walks 4 times a week. I'm on the Peloton. I'm eating the salads, and the weight is just like sticking to my body. It's just not moving. So I enlisted some help.
So where did you?
I got a BBL now.
All right. Now that's it. You did go away on a few trips last year. I don't know.
Just so you know, I will be buying my flat stomach, and when I do, I will tell y'all all about it.
Oh man! But like, where did you first get introduced to Wegovy? Because it's called Wegovy.
It's called Wegovy. So honestly, a few people had told me about it, but I think everyone has heard about the celebrities taking Ozempic to lose weight. And I had kind of heard inklings of that, but I was just like, well, how would I get Ozempic? Like, I don't know where they're going to buy this stuff. So I just had never really thought about it. And then a friend of mine, like a couple friends of mine actually share with me that they were on Wegovy. Wegovy is essentially the manufacturer that produced Ozempic realized that it's called semaglutide, which is the main active drug ingredient in the medication.
Dr. Kirkendall?
Listen, if I was going to put it in my body, I did a lot of research on the drug. So that's the main ingredient, and the manufacturer of Ozempic realized that people were using it for weight loss. Okay. So what did they do? They rebranded and marketed a new weight loss medication called Wegovy. And it's basically an injectable shot. You take it once a week. It has like staggered dosage. So it's tiered dosages. So you start low and then you kind of end at a high dose. And the way my doctor explained it to me, it is supposed to be a lifelong medication. So you should essentially, to maintain your weight loss, you should be on it for the rest of your life.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So obviously you can get off of it. Yeah. It's up to you. And she's like, but there's a high likelihood that you'll gain the weight back. And I'm like, okay, but I've gone to the gym and worked out and lost weight the right way and gained the weight back. So what's the difference? To me, what's the difference? There's no difference. So I started it back in July. So I got the prescription a while ago, and I kind of just let it sit, and I was staring at it, and it was staring at me, and I was staring at it, and I was like, do I want to do it? There's also a mass shortage of the drug because so many people are on it. So I started to call around to different pharmacies. We went on our whole trip in June, and I was like, okay, we're back. Let me see if I can find it now. And I was like casually calling pharmacies, and I called a Costco pharmacy like 30 minutes from us, and he was like, I have one of the starter dose in stock.
Y'all, this was giving Jordan release.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know. Like, this is all like new. Now, I'm going to try, Wegovy, yada, yada. Okay, babe, whatever you want. Your body, your choice. Like, I'm just ignoring it. It's like, I can't find it anywhere, da-da-da. When I knew it was a real thing is we travel 80% of the year. We going to other cities. She's pre-calling these cities, CVS's to find it. I said, wait a minute. Is this a opportunity for me to make some money? I was shocked. I said, this is harder to get than some off-white Jordan 1s.
So we went to Chicago for a trip, and I was
crazy.
Like, I needed a refill on my prescription. And I had called a whole bunch of pharmacies in California, and I could not find it. So I was talking to his mom, and she was like, well, why don't you just call some in Chicago? And I was like, oh, okay. So I called a pharmacy in Chicago that was like 10 miles from the airport.
Crazy.
So we land, and he's like, let's go get food. I'm so hungry. I was like, well, before we go get food, I need us to drive to this pharmacy. The pharmacy ended up being 30 minutes away from the airport.
Oh, I was
Charles was screaming.
Again, another reason for a husband to have an adequate disdain. Oh, it's right by the airport. You'll be fine. 30-minute trip to get these drugs for
I didn't think 10 miles was going to be 30 minutes from the airport. But for me, the biggest thing was like acknowledging that I needed help. And I know some people will say, well, it's the easy way out. It's, lose weight, fat. I don't care. Judge me if you want to judge me. I think that for some people, losing weight is very easy. You eat the grilled chicken, you eat the white rice, you go to the gym, the weight falls off. Other people do that, the weight doesn't fall off. And I have to be honest with myself. I'm not a grilled chicken girly. I'm never going to be a grilled chicken girly. Like, that's just not who I am.
GCG, okay. Okay, you a FCG, fried chicken
girly.
Okay,
I'm a fried chicken
I knew
girly.
you was going to Bridget, relax. That's my wife, Bridget.
I'm a fried chicken girly.
Not too much on my wife.
And
she said me too. She said, okay, we good. Same thing.
And the one thing I liked my doctor for acknowledging is that weight loss is not linear. Yeah. It does not look the same for everyone. We could all eat the same thing, work out the same, and we'd all still have different results. So even with taking this drug, I'm in a Facebook group for it where everyone kind of talks about all their different experiences. Some people are like, I had to get off of it because the side effects were too much. Some people are like, I had to get off of it because I was on it for months and I didn't lose any weight. So I think the experience is going to be different for everyone.
That's the perfect segue because I want to know, what were the side effects that you were told when you first, got your James St. Patrick drugs? And then number 2, I want to know what side effects, if any, did you actually experience? Yeah.
So the side effects, people said that they couldn't drink. It made them feel sick. Some people said eating bad foods made them feel sick. Some people said that they were not hungry at all, just could not eat, but you have to eat to live. So they're forcing themselves to eat. Some people said they were still very hungry and wanted to eat all the time, so the drug wasn't helping. And then, I think all the other, when you watch the commercial and it is could have hallucinations, side effects include all these, and possibly death. So all of those side effects too, but I think the biggest one that I saw, I was able to drink. I had no issue drinking. I didn't feel sick. I'm not a hardcore drinker anyway, so that one didn't bother me. I think for me, my biggest side effect was it kind of changed the chemistry of my brain a little bit. So, when you eat something that tastes delicious,
I'm tracking now.
You take a bite of that mac and cheese on Christmas or Thanksgiving evening, and you I've been waiting all year for that mac and cheese, and you get that
beloved mac and cheese.
Yes, and you get that
so cheesy.
Food high, and it feels so good, and you oh my gosh, it's you could taste it tastes like the memory of what you know it's going to taste like. I don't have that feeling anymore. So I eat stuff and I'm it's good. I know it's good, but it's not giving me that dopamine high that I get when I bite into something where I'm oh my God, I know it's going to taste so good. I'm I'm eating to eat. And that feels okay because my life is so centered around food. We love food. Yeah. We wake up talking about it's 8 a.m. and we what we eating for dinner?
Hey, when we land in the city, where are we gonna eat? Where do you want to go? Have you made a reservation?
Yeah. So we are such food centric people, and that I don't think that will ever change, right? That will never not be my life. And it has taught me to enjoy food, to not overindulge. I literally cannot overeat because as I start to overeat, I'm going to be nauseous.
Yeah.
And it's taught me to like eat when I'm hungry and not just eat for the sake of eating and not walk into the kitchen and be like, I'm bored. What can I eat today? Like it kind of took that out of my head, which was helpful for me.
So how much weight did you lose?
Also,
how long have you been on it now?
I started it and I've been on it spotty, and I'll tell y'all why. Like I'm not the perfect case of like every week I'm taking it. So I started at like 205, and that was July of 2023. Mm-hmm. And this morning when I weighed myself, I was 170.
Oh wow, it's 35. So last I knew it was 30.
Mm-hmm.
5 more.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
And I haven't, like, these are numbers that I haven't seen since before we got married.
Yeah, no. You're 167 on the altar.
Yeah.
I know that specifically because you said you was going to be 160 and you was eating Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I mean, the Lord.
Like, so you really not trying.
The Lord's not done with me.
I'm working out king. I'm like, so you just not going to go. You said you was trying to get to 160.
And
like, nah, I'm good.
And then we got to the end and I was like, you know what, we here.
It's crazy.
You're going to marry me anyway.
Like, is she really excited about this?
I'm like, I love you and I want to be happy. This is stressful enough. I can't also not eat.
Yeah, so that was beautiful to just see your confidence grow and your excitement to be back to like your literal 7 years ago size before I, got 2 babies out of you. Thank you very much for those. Potentially 3. We'll talk about that in the future episode.
I'm like, guys, did I lose the 30 to just gain 50 back?
You know what? Uno más. But from that perspective, when she was telling me that her mental capacity for food has shifted, as someone that y'all know loves food, who is the primary cook, I said, get the fuck out here. It's not, like, really? You just don't care? Like, I'm like, yo, you're mentally trying to buy into this to help it make sense for you. That was literally my perspective.
And why it had to make sense for me, and we'll get to why Charles's perspective shifted. Why it had to make sense for me was because insurance didn't cover it. So I was paying for this out of pocket.
Okay, what was the financial? I don't know what be in Shireen's side account. Y'all know she got a side account. How much is this?
Well,
how often do you have to take? Oh, it's weekly.
It's weekly, and the dose, it's a monthly dose. So you are taking you have to go get it every month.
Okay.
So that's why I said I was not taking it as regularly as you should. I was kind of stretching my doses out because I was paying for it out of pocket, and it's very, 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 very expensive.
What is expensive?
So without insurance, the drug by itself costs $1,600.
$1,600
a month.
A month?
A month.
Shireen, you could have went to Colombia. I'm sorry. Let me chill.
I could have gone to Colombia.
Bro, $1,600 a month? How many months? Hold on.
No. There's no need to do math. Okay. It's a sunk cost. It's already gone. Okay. It's already gone.
Okay, Richard, when we talk about this after, you know why.
So, Orlando, this is the last time we book in studio space. The account is dry. So I didn't pay $1,600 a month. There's the Wegovy has a savings card because they know that people are paying out of pocket. That saves you $500 off the back. So I was like, okay, I was expecting $1,100, and then I went to Costco because I was like, Costco pharmacy is great. Maybe they'll give me a little Costco discount. At Costco, it was ringing up at like $8.37.
Okay.
So it bought it down to half.
Y'all know we bargainers.
So,
okay.
But half off was still a lot of money every month. So I think for maybe the first 2 months or 2 or 3 months, I took it pretty diligently. So the shot every week, same day every week. And then after I lost some weight, I was like, okay, we can slow down on these shots a little bit.
Before we pivot, like what with the increased dose, because I know y'all do like, I'm on volume 1, like I hear, over here, I'll be getting involved in the ladies' conversation, but I'll be over here, I'm in volume 2, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm V3, you know what I'm saying? They be competing.
It's definitely not called volumes.
Like, is it like, how does it intensify, and like, what's the top level? You know what I'm saying? What's like the super max?
It goes 0.25, 0.5,
Sound like grams. Is this?
Milligrams.
Oh, okay. I was saying, you're talking about 0.25. I watch Power.
And then from 0.5, it goes to 1.
Okay.
And then from there, it goes to 1.7 and then 2.4. So 1.7 and 2.4 are what they call the maintenance doses.
Okay.
So those are the doses that you can kind of stay on and kind of steady Eddie if you're done losing weight. Some people said they made one their maintenance dose, and some people are like, well, now I don't take it every week. I take it every 10 days or every 2 weeks. I'm right now on 1.7.
Okay.
And recently I found out that my insurance is covering it. So now I'm waiting for insurance to kind of kick in and start covering it. I've refused to buy it. I have not bought it again since I found out insurance covers it. But I know, and the reason why I chose to be candid and kind of share this openly was because I think we've talked about social media so much this season, but I do think social media kind of creates this perception that, like, I went to the gym and I did it the right way. And I've had trainers who tell me, like, I'm like, no, I want to get surgery. They're like, that's the cop out. And I'm like, yo, however you got to do, we got one life, you got one body. However you got to do it in a healthy way to feel good about yourself, do that. Like, I'm not going to be at the gym feeling depressed. And it's not to say you shouldn't work out. Life is about moderation. It's about finding that balance. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to go to the gym 5 days a week to get on the scale at the end of it and be demoralized because I haven't lost 1 pound. And also, if you feel good about your body at whatever size you are, that's also okay. Like, be happy wherever you are. Find whatever your happiness looks like. And if your goal is to lose weight, figure out how you lose that weight in a healthy manner, however it makes sense for you. So the other side to Wegovy is a lot of, because it became so popular, a lot of labs have now created it.
So now it's like the black market?
It's not the black, but it's called like compounded formulas. So
this is getting deep.
Yeah, so essentially...
You must be on Reddit. Is this what you be reading up on Reddit?
I'm on Reddit. One thing about me, I'm going to do my research. Before I put something in my body, I want to do research. I want to understand a lot about it. But I've been on Reddit. I've been on Facebook.
Clearly you've been all up on Reddit.
So I have done a lot of the legwork for you. If this is a path you want to go down, I encourage you to do your own research and figure out what works for you. But basically... when I started searching Wegovy, you know, all the apps they listen, I started to get the ads. So then I was getting the ads for like,
the other stuff.
Yes, for like this pharmacy weight loss drug, $100 a month, lose weight, semaglutide, and I'm like, huh. So then I started doing research.
The non-FDA approved ones.
The non-FDA approved one. So like I heard or even on Instagram, why I stopped taking semaglutide because I got so sick. And then they're showing themselves like with a bottle and a syringe. And I'm like, well, that's not the FDA approved one. Whether that's going to however, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm also going to say, like, don't push that and say that like you got sick off of that when that's a very different one than what I'm taking, because you may not know what's in there. Of course, there are going to be people who are doing it the right way, being honest, but at the end of the day, they're mixing a drug and you don't, unless you're buying it from the chemist himself, you don't know what they've mixed in there. So I also spoke to my doctor about that, and she was like, I would stay away from those because we don't know what, point blank period, you don't know what's in those, and that might not be a road you want to go down. So I think they're even like Weight Watchers now sells a drug, so so honestly, a lot of reputable brands are now kind of like pushing this like weight loss drugs. That's why I say I encourage you, do your research, find out what works for your pockets and what will work for your body. It's all up to you.
So I'm one of those people that are confident in my own skin.
Yes, you are.
I think I'm a handsome guy here. You know, I'm doing all right. Can't stand to lose a few pounds. We talked about that. You know, the ebbs and flows of beloved.
And what happened?
But ironically, unbeknownst to me, last year, I was at the end of last year, top of this year, I was introduced to Wegovy. And I was never anything. Y'all see how flippantly I felt when she was going through it. So after Afrotech, was struggling. Like, that was a sprint of about 6 or 7 events that I hosted, that I ran, in addition to running an actual conference, a stage, executing that for 25,000 plus people. Shout out to Afrotech team. It's a big job, for everybody. And after that, normally I'm exhausted. Yeah, and
you're like, you need a week to recover.
This is when we actually slow down. This is normally when we vacate and everything. So that particular week, I was really going through it. But I also felt like I had never worked as hard as I ever have past week. So the fatigue and everything that I was experiencing felt right for the effort that I had put into it. But one particular issue was like neck pain. I could not move my neck. I couldn't look left. So I'm talking to Shireen like this. I'm like, Shireen, what's going on? And Shireen is Mrs. Go to the doctor.
We pay for insurance. Go to the doctor, please.
And I'm Mr.
I'm gonna be all right.
Let's let it recover. You know, what's the people that just let self. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. The holistic. Yeah, I'm holistic, beloved. You know, it's just gonna work itself
Charles
out.
Charles is, if I ignore it for long enough, it'll go away.
It's gonna work itself out over time. And so it
didn't work itself out.
It did not work itself out. Maybe a week of me not being able to move my neck and it, putting sharp pains.
And I said, hey, I'm gonna make you a doctor's appointment.
She made me a doctor's appointment. Shout out having a great partner. So I go to her doctor. Who's now my doctor. Shout out Dr. Michelle. That's my girl.
Yes, Dr. Michelle is great.
Primary care physician in my life, because you see my methodology about doctor. That is my primary care physician. I love it. I am like now in the next phase of my life, so I'm really excited about that. We have a blast. We can talk about Shireen. Like, we be having a good time. But furthermore, I go see her, and she's just doing my vitals. And in doing my vitals, she's, they take your blood or whatever that is.
Blood pressure.
They take your blood pressure. She did it twice over here, which is like already like, what were you doing that for? It's one and done. And then she did it once over here. Somebody give you like the eye. She hit me with the eyes, and I was like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, I think you need to go to the emergency room right now. And I'm like, ma'am,
I have a full day of work.
I'm building a festival right now. I don't think you really understand what I got going on. And she was like, no, like you have critically high blood pressure. Like you are at risk of having a stroke right now. I was like, man, I came in for my neck. So I hear you.
Please give me a muscle relaxer and send me home.
Relaxer, as I asked for, will be good. And clearly y'all see a little bit about my personality over 2 years. I stuck to my guns. I said, all right, you give me a muscle relaxer. I gave her a deal because she just did not feel comfortable. Like when they hit you with the, all right, that's what I'm like, am I going to die? She telling me I'm going to die? So she hit me with that. And I know she's a general practice doctor. So I said, hey, how about this? Since you're saying it looks that abnormal, if you send these labs to a specialist who specializes in this specifically, and they say that I need to go to the hospital, I will leave my work and I will go. But not just based on your conversation. No, respectfully. I respect everybody who has an immense amount of education. So I took my muscle relaxer. I went back home. I get back to working. She calls me.
Literally 30 minutes after we got done.
30 minutes later, says, yeah, I talked to them. They said you should go to the hospital right now. She said it arrogantly, too. like you thought it was a game. So I hang up. I go to the hospital immediately. And while we're there, and I don't do every single nuance to the story, but I'm a high-strung person. I know that about myself. And
he was trying to leave. He was trying to leave the hospital, y'all.
And with blood pressure, I think it's a situation where you have to relax.
And you cannot do that.
And it's very difficult for me to relax generally, but in contentious situations.
When you have work to do and you're laying in a hospital
bed. I think about work to do and I'm stuck in the hospital. They also ran my insurance and saw that I had really good insurance.
Oh, God.
And so they started picking out every single item that they could think
not
of
what happened.
To evaluate me. And they keep taking my blood pressure.
They were taking his blood.
All right. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You see what happens when you turn old and jaded?
I'm turning into that guy.
So they took his blood pressure. His blood pressure was like something crazy.
Yeah, 180 over 130. It was wild. It was wild.
And then so now they're like, we're going to put you on like some really strong hospital level blood pressure medication. They put him on and they put a cuff on his arm and it's taking his blood pressure every 30 minutes.
Yes.
The pressure kept going up.
Yes.
And then it would come down a little and then it would shoot back up.
So naturally, when I was at 160 over 109 before I got there, and the things that they're doing to remedy it are causing them to go up, I think I have a fair case to say, you're doing this to me. Thank you, Bridget. I'm getting worse in your care. Let me go home.
So
I have work to do.
They essentially we got to like the third medication before his blood pressure actually started to go down. And the issue with it was this is exactly how he was talking to them. He was not, people kept texting me, his business partner, is he all right? I'm like, bruh, he's absolutely fine. Like, he's okay. He's like, just keep me updated. I said, there's really nothing, unless he has a stroke right now. He's talking,
Yeah.
So the doctor had to have a come to Jesus moment with Charles, because the doctor was like, I do want to keep you overnight. Like,
that pissed me off.
Your levels are entirely too high.
You know how much more money that was for the overnight stay? Like, your levels are too high.
For me to safely...
100K, yeah, I know, let me get you a bed. They're offering me the food. You think I want your hospital food?
Charles, that doctor didn't see none of that. I can promise you he's not working with the insurance company. He himself.
Keep going.
They essentially... where like, he was like, you're at stroke levels for your age, your pressure is too high, and I couldn't in good conscience send you home. And Charles was like, but I feel fine. And he's like, well, that's why blood pressure is called a silent killer, because you feel fine, and then you have a heart attack and you drop dead. And he's like, and that is the reality of it. And he's like, you clearly have a wife, you have a family. He's like, I want to send you home to those people. Yes. So they ended up keeping Charles overnight. I had to go home because my mom was home with the kids, and CJ was already like, where's my parents? So I went home. Charles spent the night by himself. But in the morning, after he'd been on the
medicine for a while,
you said you felt.
And I felt better. Like the way I felt for the post week of Afrotech, I still had a little pain in my neck, but like I actually had energy. Like I was taking very, very, very slow steps. And that doctor, despite, the insurance fraud, actually was like, your neck pain could be a sign of like a very, very, very minor stroke that you don't know about. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, all right, I gotta chill out a little bit. I get it. So I did all the tests. The good news was there was nothing for real wrong with me. Now, with the higher blood pressure, they wanted to put me on medicines. And so I went back to the regular doctor, who's now my doctor now. She got me right. And then they were like, the other things, like the other things that we see right now, like there's nothing, passageways, no coverage. Like you're obviously a big guy, but you're pretty decently healthy. It was like your blood sugar, your sugar. You're like
he got the sugar, y'all.
The pre-diabetes. They was like, you gotta cut that back.
And Charles loved him some juice and dessert.
I love them. And it was like them simply. Oh, let me chill. It's a partner. It's a partner. They was like, you gotta go light. So they still a partner. I can only do Simply Lemonade light now. They said you cut that out immediately. You're doing better. And like some desserts. And I love my sweets. They was like, no. You gotta regulate that, and then start to diet and exercise. But also, there is this drug that is out there.
So
that could potentially have two benefits. Number one, could help with your sugar diabetes. But number two,
could help with weight loss.
Or may not lose weight on it. And I said, well, what drug is this? The doctor looks at me and says, Reen-Govy. I said, this is a Shereen been taking. This is Shereen drug. You want to give it to me? She was like, yes. Ozempic, and it's not Wegovy, it's the actual Ozempic, is actually for
diabetes.
And so if you want, I will write you a prescription for it. Let's just see how it's working for you, and then seeing if all of your levels are coming down. So this is something that is actively going on. I started taking it, similarly to Shereen. I started looking in the fridge. I see her shooting herself in the stomach. I'm like, that's not something I'm ever going to participate in. And I hate needles, so I look away, and I'm like, baby, can you do it? Baby, can you do it?
And now I shoot him in the stomach.
Shoot me in the stomach. Honestly, it does not hurt at all. Like, you don't feel anything. It's actually pretty crazy that it's actually a shot. And so I did 2-week sample size of it and went back to the doctor. And they weighed me at the doctor when I was there with all that stuff. And then they came back, and I just have not been weighing myself. Because when I do, I become a psycho about it. And I wasn't mentally ready to become psycho workout beloved, so I just didn't want to know my weight. I just look at how my clothes fit, I look at my neckline, that sort of thing. Like,
my clavicle showing.
I got
clavicle showing.
And so to that, and right before I went to the hospital, I was like, I don't want no crazy surprises. So, because I knew what it was that last time. So I went, got on the scale at home, and I was down like 11 pounds.
And he was like, nah, that's wrong.
And so I was like, oh, this scale's broken. Shireen's clearly lying about her weight to herself. And I actually got pretty sad for her because she just told around, I lost 30 pounds then, and I was like, she might be 20. And so I went on the other scale. We got 2 scales. You got to compare and contrast and come up with a number in the middle. And that second one said I lost like 13 pounds. And I was like, oh, this is why. I was like, all of our scales at home are broken. And so, did I tell you before? to try and steal your shine, or did I just go to the doctor and validate?
No, you told me before, and you were like, it says I'm down 10. I was like, that's probably right. I was like, get on the other scale. I was like, the other scale actually comes in higher. So I was like, if that one gives you, it's like a plus or minus 2.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm actually down on that scale. I said, well, then it's telling you the truth.
So I go to the doctor, and before she started trying to put that cuff on me, I said, hold on, doc. I got to get on this scale. So I get on the scale. Says I was down 10, 11 pounds since my last visit. And I said, doctor, I haven't even done anything. Like, I was not actively working out. I felt like I genuinely could not eat as much as I could before. And the wildest part is that my excitement over food was decreasing. And I was like, she wasn't fucking lying. I said she wasn't lying. This shit working the magic drug. I'm turning into a Wegovy seller like y'all sell that shit door to door. What's the name of that stuff that the women be selling?
Avon.
Avon. I'm going around selling. I believe it. It's the miracle drug. So now we couple that with an actual commitment to working out. I think it could be crazy. But it absolutely works. Obviously, sincerely, I had some real, true health things.
Yeah.
And I'm like getting somewhat in a better shape. I have so much work to do this year. I normally start working on top of January. Top of January was out of the country. We came back writing a podcast. But I'm like, I gotta prioritize this and let's get back to it. But the drugs are also absolutely helpful.
And for me, it also helped like shift how I felt about food. I was getting into like a real toxic relationship with food. Like every time I put something in my mouth, I was like, oh, you're so fat. You are going to gain all this weight. And now I can like take 2 bites of something, enjoy it, and be like, okay, I fulfilled the need. I'm good. I can move on. So I think really pairing it with your point to like a healthy lifestyle. We're not perfect. I'm not about to sit here and sell you like, oh, I work out 4 days a week. I work out when I can. I try to fit it into my schedule. I try to eat right. I try to eat in moderation. Now, honestly, I think since we've been on the drug, we eat more. We like eat breakfast now.
Eat breakfast now. I don't know if that is making us more hungry instead of like intermittent fast. Like we eat a little something, but we're just not putting these big old
plates together the way we used to.
Lots of leftovers. So.
And I had a friend who had, she's also a mom. She's a boss. She has a really big job, and she also had 2 children. And she had asked me, she was like, what are you doing? And I told her, and she was like, wow, thank you so much for being honest. Because she was like, I know so many people who are on it, and I feel like sometimes moms get so hard on themselves about like showing up for their kids, showing up for their partners. And she was like, I was working out every day, and it was like, I'm successful in all these other areas, but I'm like failing in trying to lose weight. And she was like, and I was putting so much pressure on myself. And like, I got a prescription. My doctor gave me a prescription, but I was just like, no, I can't do that. And she was like, thank you for being honest and showing me that like, it's okay to get a little help. It's nothing wrong with you. And she's like, and just coming to a place where I don't feel judged. And I'm like, yo, if people gonna judge me, that's their business. I don't really care. I'm happy. I feel more confident. I'm able to actually shop in my closet. And that, to me, I remember I put on a pair of jeans and I almost started crying because I was like, I almost threw these jeans out because I was just like, they're never going to fit you ever again, girl. Let them go. And now I'm able to actually fit things, and like, I don't know, it's a very freeing experience.
I love that. Well, congratulations, Vintage Bone Reen, for being able to go back.
Yes,
vintage pieces
in my closet. Amen. Saving. So the money I spent, I'm actually saving because I didn't have to buy a new. I appreciate that. I didn't have to buy a new wardrobe.
Way to bring it back home. Yo, episode 15 for Better Best Podcast, Reen-Govy. Go get that magic drug. No, I'm just kidding. Unless you go do it.